We're learning about love this month, and I'm going to use a scripture that Spirit gave me as our basis for the lesson today. This is in the Aquarian Gospel, chapter 119, verses, I'm going to start with 1 and 2. This is about Jesus. He has been at his ministry for a couple of years now, and he has come back home. And this is also the city where Matthew lives, one of the disciples. So Matthew, who was wealthy, you all knew Matthew was wealthy. Matthew said, let us have a party. So it says in 1 and 2, it says, the news spread that Jesus was back. The people came in throngs to welcome him. And Matthew, one of the 12, a man of wealth, whose home was in Capernaum, spread forth a sumptuous feast. And Jesus and the 12 masters, and Jesus, the foreign masters and the 12, and people of all shades of thought were guests. And I love that phrase, all shades of thought were guests. He's really giving us an energetic picture. If you could see energy and you could look around the room here today and our thoughts would have various colors, you would see that each one of us was vibrating differently. That we had a green, a blue, or orange, it doesn't matter what color, but we would have various colors of thoughts vibrating in our field. We would have what's the baseline belief, the energy of that. We would have what you were focusing on. So from here I could see, oh, somebody's worried about lunch today. You know, we could see the baseline, what you're focusing on, and then we would also see how you see yourself in the world. Do you know that you can see yourself differently than your baseline? Your baseline may be that I love God dearly and deeply. Yes. How I see myself in the world might be completely different. It might be I'm challenged, I'm not good enough, I don't take my light out into the world seriously. You know, we could have all manner of thoughts. And if we could see it, if we could see the coloration of the various thoughts in our energy field, would we not ourselves have many shades? We would have many shades in our energy field based on what we're focusing on. But for us today, in this room, we all have a common baseline because you're here. So the baseline is a desire to know God, a desire to talk with God, a desire to understand God. There's some desire to connect with God in every single person in this room or you wouldn't be here. Agreed? So we have this beautiful baseline flowing through all of us. So this common thread is evident here. What was the common thread at the party? Could have been party. Woohoo! Free food. Let's go feast. A sumptuous feast. You know, all manner of people are invited. Some people didn't have abundance to eat. So maybe they went for the food. Maybe they went to celebrate. Maybe they did go for Jesus. We just don't know. But it probably was not as common a baseline as you are used to, or as you would see. So, there were definitely different groups. It says, when the Pharisees observed that Jesus sat and ate with the publicans and those of ill repute, they said, for shame, this man who claims to be a man of God consorts with publicans, courtesans, and the common herd of men. For shame. Oh gosh. So, in this party, I guess it was okay that the courtesans were there. I guess it's okay that the publicans were there. But don't sit with them. Here. Now, a publican, as you guys know, is a tax collector. Think of the person in your world that you don't care for, that holds a political position that bothers you. That's your publican. Okay? And the courtesans. Courtesans were people who shared of their energy in order to survive, actually. So, do you ever do that? Compromise your energy in order to survive? Do what's not necessarily what you want to do in order to survive? Okay, so you have a little courtesan in you? Yeah. We all do. We all do. All right. But the Pharisees, they were a group that their job was to make sure that the laws were complied with. And Pharisees were what we would call priests of the Jewish faith. So their job was to make sure that the laws were complied with. And so if you're not doing what the law of my religion states, then it's my obligation to judge you. It's my obligation to point it out to you. And if you are going to put yourself up as a priest like unto me, Jesus, equal to me in leading the people's spirituality, then you better make them do the laws, like I make them do the laws. And the common herd of man, oh my. I don't even have words for that. No words, no words. So the Pharisees made it a point to judge. And this is what Jesus said to the Pharisees. Those who are well cannot be healed. The pure need not be saved. They who are well are whole, and they who are pure are saved. They who love justice and do right need not repent. I came not unto them, but to the sinner I am come. So, he was telling them, if you are happy with your life, I am not here for you. And he was saying, I believe that if you are walking in a state of purity, if you are doing what you are guided to do, that's purity. If you are being healthy in your ways, and it is serving you, then I did not come for you. I did not come for you. You know, people often come to us and they want to convert us to their faith. And I'm asked always why we are not a conversion faith. We don't convert people. Either you come through the door or you don't. We do not go out and knock on yours. It's because if your faith is serving you, you need to be exactly where you are. If that brings you closer to God and makes you love God better, even if it's rules upon rules upon rules, if that's what your soul needs, then that's where you need to be. And he was saying, I didn't come for people who are content with their lives. I came for people who want something different, who want to know God in a different way. And do you think the Pharisees were content with their lives? They thought they were. But it makes me wonder what they were doing at the party. Why were they at the party? You know? So, the people who sat with Jesus, the courtesans, the publicans, the herd of common man, all of them were drawn to him because there was something that he had that they wanted to experience. They might have not been converted. They might not have been wholeheartedly on the path with him, but they wanted to know what he had to offer. And they wanted to know how did he define God and how did he represent God, which was different from the Pharisees. They brought their shade of thought exactly as it was to a space where they could have a higher vantage point. I want you to think of the times when you're with someone that's extremely charged like a Pharisee. Like you're out to lunch with someone who is really politically excited about stuff and they're just politically excited and you can avoid the topic. You can avoid the topic and you change the topic, but does it really change their energy or who they are? No, they'll get charged about something else. Because if they're that charged about their position, it's going to come through everything they say. And then what do? Do you become the Pharisee? Do you go, oh my, I need to judge you severely because you're making me very uncomfortable? You know, Jesus always acted in kindness to everyone. He was honest. He didn't go looking for the problems with the Pharisees. They came to him. He was honest with them when they came. He always acted in kindness to people. Opportunity for us to change, eh? Mm-hmm. All right. A band of John's disciples who had heard that John was dead were wearing badges for their death. So when someone dies that they worship, they wear a badge and they fast. And John had just been killed, John the Baptist. So the Pharisees observed this. They were fasting and praying and they observed this. And then they came back to Jesus. It's like, we're not going to give up. We got another issue to talk to you about. And the Pharisees said, why do the followers of John fast and your disciples are not fasting? Like, I'm going to catch you in another bad thing that you're doing. O holy man of God, to prove that you're not, O holy man of God. Jesus said this, you are masters of the law. Perhaps you can tell us the benefits of fasting. And the Pharisees said nothing. Jesus said the vital force of man does depend on what they eat and drink. Is the spirit life stronger when the vital force is weak? Is sainthood reached by starvation, self-imposed? John is dead, and his devoted followers are fasting in their grief. Their love for him impels them to show respect, for they have thought and have been taught that it is a sin to lightly treat the memory of the dead. To them it is a sin, and it is well that they should fast. Simple. That is what they believe. That's what they believe. And if we talk about death and memorial, Patrick's family was Catholic, and they were raised in an era of days past when Catholicism was extremely ritualistic. And when his parents passed, the family mourned. A couple of days, sitting at the funeral parlor, mourning and mourning and mourning, because that is their way. That is what they believe they need to do, and so they did it wholeheartedly. Now that's not Patrick's way. Patrick's way is to know that his parents both, when they passed, went on to their highest self, they're free, they're being their greater being, they're going home to God, to their knowing of who they are. It's a celebration in his mind. But did he sit with his family? Yeah, he did. He tried to keep staying in his consciousness, tried to raise them up when he could, but he did not stop them from doing the process that they were doing, because if he had, he would have been calling them wrong. And they were doing exactly what they need to do based on their belief system. Do you guys see? Loving many shades of thought. We're not always going to understand why people do what they do. But we can hold the love and peace toward them while holding our energy. And it doesn't have to be so dramatic a shift. I mean, he didn't have to run out and go, I can't take you people. Oh my God, don't you know? He just had to quietly be him. And he probably took many breaks, I know that. But he held in his faith and his belief system. Do you think his mother was blessed on the other side as he was doing this? His father on the other side when he was doing this? Yes, they were blessed because someone was sending light to them. Do you think they were crying with their other children that were crying? Yes, their children are crying. They're feeling their sorrow. So they probably hung with Patrick for a while and then hung with the other kids for a while. Neither was wrong. They were acting according to their beliefs. All right. Jesus said this. When men defy their consciousness and listen not to what they say, the heart is grieved and they become unfitted for the work of life. Thus they sin. When men defy their own knowing and do not follow that inner voice, then they are unfit for the work of life, because the work of life is their inner gift, the gift that they brought to the planet to share. And if they're denying the inner voice, they will never find the gift to give. And he said, in that you sin. And everyone who heard him knew what the word sin meant. It meant you're missing the mark. It doesn't mean you're condemned forever. It means you're missing the mark. You're making an error. You're not doing what you need to do. Everyone who does not follow the inner voice within misses the mark and cannot accomplish. The consciousness may be taught, though. One man may do in consciousness what another man cannot do. What is a sin for me to do may not be a sin for you to do. The place you occupy on the way of life determines what is sin. So the place you occupy on the path of life, the way of life, what country you're born in, what culture you're born in, what beliefs you hold. You picked that way of life for this experience, for this lifetime. And everything that you're experiencing in that path you're on is helpful to your evolution and growth. And it's designed to help you express. If you're born to vegan parents, it's okay. If you're born to carnivores, it's okay. If that's your path, that's okay. Whatever will keep you on the path to success, you on the path to finding your inner voice and following it, it's okay. I want you to kind of feel you cannot judge the life of another person. You have no idea why they chose what they chose. You don't have any idea what gift they're seeking to give. Most of them don't either. It's only when we can honor our own consciousness and honor the light within that we can begin to truly embrace us, who we are, who we are. Jesus says there is no changeless law of good, for good and evil both are judged by other things. One man may fast and be blessed because he is sincere. Another may fast in faithlessness, and it doesn't work the same way. Any Catholics that did Lent as children, and you gave up something for Lent, how successful was that? Not really, because you didn't do it joyfully. You know, you're punishing yourself. That is not a gift to God. That is not a gift to your spirit. I'm trying to bring you little examples that are not going to wreck your souls. But the reality is, we are all walking in mixed consciousness. We have this beautiful baseline that loves God, but it's time for us to wake up to the reality that we have the courtesan within, we have the Pharisee within, and we have the publican within. We are all doing jobs. Are you not doing jobs that some people wish you wouldn't? And they'll get mad at you for you doing your job. And it's at some level, I don't care what you do, at some level you will offend someone. You're going to. And then to them, you are the publican. How dare you? We are all courtesans. We go against our inner guidance. We give up our own life essence to invest in something that does not vibrate within us. And then we judge. All right. This is what Jesus said, and this is what you need to remember. You cannot make a bed to fit the form of every man. If you can make a bed to fit yourself, you have done well. That is part of our job on this journey, is to make our bed. Just like your ma said. Make your bed. Make your world fit you. Make your world fit you. Now, does that mean that you isolate from everyone that has a different shade of energy? No. They're going to be on your path. They're going to be on your path. If we lead with kindness, do you know what kindness really is? It's that moment when you recognize that the one in front of me has value. You have value. Carolyn, you have value. You know, whether I see him again or not doesn't matter. I know he's a child of God, and as he's in front of me on my path, there is value in this man, in what he does and who he is. And I acknowledge it for a moment. I don't have to give him my power. I don't have to pump him up. I'm just kind. I don't have to carry him with me the rest of my life. That's kindness. Just recognizing the value of everyone. And if you can't find that value, when you're looking at someone who is desperately, desperately not who you are, desperately, desperately different from you, oh no, too much. Too much. You can always go back to your baseline. They are children of God. You do not have to invite them home for tea. They are children of God. But in the moment when you honor their children of God, you know what emits from you? Kindness. There's just a kindness there. And they feel that they've been recognized and accepted, even in that state of, oh my God, different than me. You're different than I am. Are you all enjoying this wonderful rendition of your own shades? Yes. Jesus said 3 things. If you are happy in your consciousness, I did not come for you. And that's across the board to everybody. If you guys are content with everything that's going on, He did not come for you. If your life's working for you and you're good, keep on going. If you want more, you want different, you want a higher relationship with Spirit, you can turn to Jesus. You can turn to the energy He brought, the teachings He brought, the love He brought. You can take that in and let that help open up the inner door. He also said, one man may do in consciousness what another man may not. Don't put expectations on your brothers. And don't judge yourself if you're doing something your brothers are not. It may be perfectly right for you. How many of you deny something that you really want to do? It's perfectly right for you. But because it's not accepted by other people's standards. Maybe a couple? Maybe a couple? And then make a bed to fit yourself. And the amazing thing that Spirit said is even in God consciousness, when we're in that consciousness of God, which is the beautiful energy of all good, all love, all peace, all fabulousness, even in that, when we are in that, we have beautiful different shades of light because we're unique. We have many variables within us, many qualities and potentials and expressions that vibrate differently, but they're all vibrating in the energy of God love. We're always going to be multifaceted. We're not ever going to be that one point that disappears into nothingness. Because we're children of God. We're going to be this beautiful expression. We're going to be beautiful, radiant, and colorful. But they'll all be vibrating with God love. We all have a job to do and a contribution to make. When God love is the baseline of our consciousness, the beliefs will vibrate that. We will see the differences and not judge. We will take responsibility for our life. And we will love others when we love ourselves. If we can really love ourselves, then we have the capacity and the generosity to love others. If you do not love yourself, it is very difficult to love others. Do you know that? Okay. When you are sleeping in a bed of someone else's beliefs, you're going to always be unhappy. And how often do you sleep in a bed of someone else's beliefs? Think about that tonight when you go to bed, when you lay down in your bed with your little pillow. Is this the pillowcase you want? Maybe you want a different color. Maybe you want to do something different. Maybe you want to take a little crystal into the bed with you this night, or maybe your little snuggy dog or something. You make that bed to fit you. You think about it, does this fit you? And perhaps you can just let your mind go over your baseline belief. In this bed, I lay down in the consciousness of God love. I just put myself in God love. How simple would that be? I don't worry about what I might have done. I don't worry about somebody judging me. I just lay in God love. And then that energy will fit me. How simple is this? Okay. Make a life that fits your desired beliefs, and you will grow a world you will love to live in. You will love all your many shades. You know, Jesus ends this chapter by saying, "He that hath an ear, let him hear." Do you know what that means? Y'all have heard that, right? Mm-hmm. He that hath an ear, let him hear. He says that quite often in the New Testament. You know what it means? And did you see yourself? That's what it means. I just told you this big old long story, and did you recognize I was talking to you? And that's what he's asking. This journey on this planet is not as difficult as we make it. It can be quite simple if we honor God and us as child of God. God and I am true to me. And if I am true to me, then people who love and vibrate with me will be around me. If I am wearing the beliefs of someone else, then people that I don't understand will be around me. Because they'll be vibrating in harmony with the beliefs of this other person that I'm holding. And I will never feel myself. I'll never feel myself. I look at all you guys, and I am so happy. The spark of light is in your eyes. There's an awakened awareness. And I don't know what you're doing in your life. I don't know how often you meditate. I don't know if you're yelling at people in traffic. I don't know any of that. But I do know that you're believing that you are loved by God. Because I see it in your eyes.
Absolutely.
You are believing that. And I'm sure you're forgiving yourself when you do those little minor things. If you're a Pharisee or a publican or a courtesan, I'm sure you forgive yourself immediately. Because we are trying to live that. We are awake to the infinite potential of God flowing through us. So loving our thoughts and loving the shades of other people, that is part of our journey, and that is one of the simplest parts of our journey. So let's anchor that in. Put your feet on the floor. Father, Mother God, we ask that your light engulf us all. And I ask that that beautiful energy of Jesus Christ just sit with each one. And we open our hearts and we just begin to feel his gentle acceptance and peace. And just imagine that he's sitting right beside you where you sit. In this room, in this chair, feel his presence. Feel him take your hand. You are as precious to him as you are to our Father, Mother God. You are a star, a divine light. And I want you to feel the beautiful light of love just pouring through you. And just feel your desire to say yes to your inner guidance. To say yes to your own consciousness. To say yes to peace. And feel the love of Jesus as he says, you are not a herd of men. You are valuable. You are loved. You are my brother, my sister. Just breathe the love into your body. Feel your gratitude. And just let Jesus go. Become aware you're sitting in a chair. Become aware that you've never left this building. You are here. I am now choosing to love my life. To love all of my shades. And to love all of my fellow men. And Father, Mother God, we thank you that we are guided and that we walk with you. We thank you. Take a breath. When you're ready, open your eyes. As you go forward this week, remember to make your bed. Remember you are divine. And remember to be kind. Say you, God.